Okay. All right. So the scenario which we are speaking about migrating your workloads from on-premises to Azure. So let us just treat this as your on-premises environment. Okay. And I would say you have two servers which are running on your on-premises. Your requirement is to migrate them to Azure platform. Okay. So without any downtime. So that is the scenario that you have at the moment. For that, we are going to use Azure native tool, which is the Recovery Services Vault. In short, I would say RSV. Okay. In RSV, we have a feature called Azure Site Recovery. In short, we say ASR. Okay. So with the ASR component, we are going to migrate your on-premises servers to the Azure environment. So for this to be happen, right? So ASR is going to use a binary or installer. I would say it's a service, right? That service we say is a unified setup agent. Okay, the unified setup agent. This agent contains the three components. One is a configuration service, the other one is a process service, the other one is a master target service. So we will speak more on CS and PS. Okay. So, so let me first explain you what are these components all about. CS is basically is a, I would say, management kind of service, which will actually contains the metadata of list of servers that has to be migrated to Azure, and it also communicate to the recovery services vault. The binaries or internal components of recovery services vault are ASR, right? So those components are getting in touch with the CS. Okay. So we have another service is part of a unified setup agent called the process service. Process service may plays a two roles here. One is to receive the data from each machine that has to be replicated to Azure, and the other activity that it is going to perform is whatever the data it has received from the source machines, it is going to upload to the Azure storage account. Okay. Master target service is basically do a compression and encryption as part of this data transmission to the Azure with the help of process service. Okay. Even master target service will help you in case if you wanted to fail back from Azure to your on premises. But since we are talking about migration, so I will not speak more about the MT. So we are going to speak more on CS and PS. As you know, CS is like a registration kind of stuff, kind of service, which will actually hold the metadata of your VMs, as well as it's going to coordinate with the RSV. So like we are speaking, right? Okay, where are this component? Where is this component? A unified setup agent is going to run, right? We have to install this unified setup agent in one of your on-prem server, right? We are going to name that server as a configuration server, which you are seeing here in the box. Okay, I would say this is the CS server. Okay, our configuration server. In short, I would say CS. So now we have this configuration server installed in your on-premises, and you have your recovery service vault created in Azure. Now we have to link these two, right? Your configuration server should talk to the RSV. For that to be happen, we have to go with the registration process. Okay, the registration process is basically done with the help of Vault credentials. You are going to download the Vault credentials from the RSV. Maybe when we are doing the labs, I can show you how to download the Vault credentials and how we can, register the configuration server. Okay, so once you register, right, step one is completed, which means that you have your configuration server is in touch with the RSV. Now, what is the next step? You need to replicate the servers, correct? To replicate the service, we need to install a specific component or a binary called mobility service agent in each server that has to be replicated. Okay, let me name this as a mobility service agent. This agent is going to be installed in each and every server that has to be replicated to the Azure. Okay, So this agent installation, right? The installation is of two types. Okay, two types. So type one is push installation. Okay, the other one is manual installation. So what is push installation and what is manual installation, right? So as part of enable replication for these two servers, ASR is going to ask your CS configuration server, because this agent is by default will be available in your configuration server. So ASR is just going to instruct your CS saying that, hey, can you go to server one and install this agent? Along same same way, go to server two and install this agent. So how it is going to happen is, it is going to, the CS is going to copy the installer and copy it to the server one as well as server two. Once it is copied, it is going to install it in the mobility in the servers. Once the installation is completed, these servers are going to be registered with your configuration server. So once the configuration server is registered, I mean the servers are registered with the configuration server, these servers, I mean the agent which is installed in the these servers are going to identify the data, pending data inside these servers, and send it to the configuration server. In the configuration server, we have a few services like mentioned, PS, process service, right? So process service has a binary called CXPS, okay? So which will receive the data from the each and every source machine, which receives the data, okay? And once the data has been received, the data will be encrypted and compressed. Then later it uses a service called cbengine.exe in the process server, and it is going to upload the data to the Azure storage account. Okay, this is the process. So this is the, with these components, you are going to upload the data to the storage account. Clear, Girish? Any questions so far?
Nothing, because only one thing I would like to add is like, since the because if these virtual machines or servers are on Azure, then it would be easy to do this installation, like push installation or manual installation, by just using extensions or partial scripts, right? But since they are at on-prem, we can't use any sort of extensions or any other concept. We just need
Yeah,
a manual
yeah,
way of doing things.
yes, exactly.
But
So in Azure,
if we have 50 servers, so for that case, like, can we have some partial automation, Windows partial automation to do this?
so basically, you don't need to do anything. So when you add the server to the replication, so configuration server is going to install this agent in all the servers
Okay.
automatically.
So these are
This is the
basically more internals.
push installation. Yeah, push
Okay.
installation is nothing but automatically it will install. Sometimes the push installation might fail because configuration server has to talk to the source machine. If there is a communication issues between the configuration server and the source machine, right, the installation may not, I mean the copy may not work, so installation might fail. Sometimes when you copied at the time of installation, if it has any permission issues, the installation might fail, right? Most of the times you will see push installation might fail because of the permission or because of the network issues. Since it has to copy the data remotely to this one, there are few ports has to be open, right? If those ports are not open, so you might see push installation might fail. In such scenarios, we go to manual installation process. What we do with the manual installation, we copy this installer manually to the server and install it manually using the GUI method or command prompt. We install it. Once the installation is completed, we are going to register with the process server, right? This is within the your on-premise environment. You are configuring all this stuff, right? So most of the times, if you are following all the support matrix, if you are following all prerequisites, push installation will save your time as well. You don't need to
Okay.
go for the manual installation.
Yeah. So I have one question here. So before, what would be the prerequisite for me to migrate my workload from on-premise to Azure. So one particular thing which I think, which I foresee is like, do we need to connect my on-premise network to Azure before doing this, ASR or migrating my workload?
Yeah, so this configuration server has to talk to the Azure storage account, and it also has to talk to Azure AD few services, and it also has to talk to ASR related URLs. So either if you have a firewall or proxy, you need to allow the exceptions in the firewall with the URLs, or if there are IP addresses that can also be whitelisted in the proxy or firewall. It all the communications would happens on 443, so you can ensure that the data is secured. So only secure communication will be happening over this. So this is about the access part from your corporate network to the Azure environment, and at the same time from your source machine to the process server, there is a port called 9443. Okay, that port has to be enabled so that the data copy from your source machine to the process server will not have any issues.
Okay,
So
so
these are the
basically
two port
944.
requirements.
Okay, so
Yeah.
9443 is a port where the agent talks to the configuration server.
Yes, mobility service agent talks to the configuration server.
Okay, so these are sort of daemon agents which would be sitting on the servers.
Yes. Yes.
So that is called as mobility service agent, in fact, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Let's go ahead.
All right. So the manual installation process you understood, right? So if you so far what we spoke is we just spoke about how we configure, right? How we are setting up the environment. Once the environment is set up, right? The data continuously replicate, right? So like I mentioned, the this is ASR uses the for especially for VMware Azure disk level replication. So when I say disk level replication, so when you first initially configure the replication for your virtual machine, whatever the data exists in the disk will be transferred to the Azure storage account with the help of process server or configuration server, right? So when the data is being replicated to the Azure, there could be some chances that changes might happen, right? Data churn might happen on the server. So those changes will be identified with the help of mobility service agent. There are like internal binary components which I can show you at the time of labs, right? Using those binaries, it will identify the changes which are written to the disk. Those changes will actually synchronize to the process server. From process server or configuration server, it is going to upload the changes to the storage account. Okay, so here, when you might ask a question, right? This is the continuous replication. As soon as it identifies the changes, it will synchronize the data to the Azure. So how do I do a failover? Like what is the key point that I'm going to use it,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
So as soon as the replication is completed, so I mean, in the target configuration settings, we have something called recovery points. Okay, so we have two types of recovery points. One is the crash consistency recovery point. The other one is the app consistency recovery point. So when I say crash consistency, so basically it will generate crash consistency for every 5 minutes. Okay, you will have one recovery point for every 5 minutes. And so crash is nothing but whatever the data that exists on the disk, right? It will just issue a tag. Let us say the data has been replicated now. In next 5 minutes, it continuously replicate. Whatever the data is there in next 5 minutes, it will say, I'm going to issue a tag for this as a crash consistency. Because whatever the data is there on the disk, I read the data, I'm issuing a tag. So in case if you wanted to fail over, you just choose this recovery point and do a failover. This is one option. The other option is application consistency recovery point. This is something like application aware recovery point we say. So what do you mean by application aware? One simple example I will give you. Let us say you have a database, right? When you're writing a large queries, right? So maybe the queries which you're writing initially loaded to the memory, right? It will not immediately return to the disk, correct? So, which means that you are having data in the memory, right? Which is not written to the disk. So which when you have app consistency recovery point, it is going to contact your Windows writers. It is going to ask your server, hey, I'm going to issue app consistency recovery point, can you please contact your writers? If it is a SQL which is writing a program, the data is still in the memory, can you ask SQL writer to write the data to the disk? Similarly, if there are any other writers which are pending data in the disk, or not in the disk, pending data in the memory, can you please ask them to write to the disk? Because I am going to initiate an app consistency. So once all the writers are stable, all the writers are say, hey, I wrote my data, you can issue a tag or a consistency recovery point, then app consistency recovery point will be generated. So usually most of the customer, you have a flexibility to generate this for every 15 minutes to for 1 hour, and I think 4 hours. So you can also have for every 12 hours is the limitation, I believe. So if you wanted to fail over, you can choose any one of these to perform the failover. When you fail over, you will not see any data loss, because when you are taking the recovery point, you are flushing the data from the memory and issuing a consistency tag, so that you will see the consistency of the data. You will not see any data loss. Clear?
So what you're saying is like, if my application are running on server one, let's take an example. Okay, so that would be my app consistency. So whatever application writes the data onto the disks, so it will write with the tags.
Yes.
Okay, so according to the tag, the replication will happen. Like it will take that particular tag, or what I can say is commit ID, and then it will make that particular consistency.
Yeah, so you will see that ID in the Azure portal. Okay, you are
Mm-hmm.
going to use that ID to create a new virtual machine in Azure. It is going to take this point in snapshot, I would say. Okay, and issue I mean, create a VM out of it.
Okay, it's
So
basically very similar to the Windows recovery point,
yes,
where we just have a point of time where you can roll back. So you just it
yes,
sort of that particular tag you use, and then it will take this particular VM which you want to fail over. It will make that particular VM on Azure into that particular consistent point where you want to fail.
yes, exactly.
Perfect, perfect. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so once you have the data as replicated, you will have your recovery points. You are going to choose any one of the recovery point and click a failover option. When you click on a failover, what I see hardly like within 10 to 15 minutes, you will have your servers created in Azure environment. Once you see the servers are created in Azure environment, you check all the pre-validations, like whether you are able to access the server on OTP or not, whether you are able to access your see the data of your servers, right? Whether you're able to see your application is working fine or not once it is moved to Azure. If you think everything is working fine, then you're going to initiate a commit option. When you say commit option, whatever the recovery point you have chosen to fail over, right? Only that recovery point exists, right? The remaining recovery points will be removed, and you have then the there will be only option that is called migration, complete migration. If you click on complete migration, then you will see the this replication will be breaks, and you will have your servers on Azure. Clear?
Yes, clear. So one specific example I have. So what will happen? Think an example like this: server one or server two uses a external dependent database or cache memory or other thing. So in that case, we need to provision those particular services on Azure first, and then we need to fail over the server afterwards.
Yeah. So what is your goal? Are you going to migrate them as well to Azure, or how it
Yes, yeah.
is?
I want to spin up.
Yeah.
I know that I have the dependency. Like take an example of a SQL database which I have. Okay, and I'm
Okay.
running on on-premise, and I found a good alternative rather than infra database. I'll be choosing a PaaS services from Azure. Okay, so now I have provisioned that particular loads onto the Azure. Okay, and yeah, I would have taken care of flushing all the tables data whatever it is there. Again, that is again another failover mechanism where you will take your dependent resources ahead and you keep it, okay, and then you will be taking up this the server or application where it is running. Okay, I'm not sure, but you, if you would have, gone through or faced certain challenges, let us know.
Yeah, so what we do is, so in general, like there are like application servers and database servers, right? So most of the times, what we say, we wanted to fill out the database servers first, and we wanted to ensure that DB is up and running before the application is running on Azure, right? That is what I have seen in real time. Okay, so in Azure recovery ASR, right? We have something called recovery plans. So in the recovery plans, you can set how we wanted to fail over the servers. Whether you wanted to fail over the DB servers first, after that you wanted to start DB servers, you wanted to perform some post migration options, right? You can configure everything as part of recovery plans. You can have some scripts as well in it, right? So once you think the step one, like DB is up and DB service are up, everything is done, then run you can make sure that the second step will execute where it is going to fail over the app servers. So you have that kind of customization available in the Azure recovery plans. Clear, Girish?
Yes, yes, perfect.
Okay. So probably I think I would need to set up a demo so that you'll get more clarity on what we are trying to speak.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So
So
this is the first scenario we talked about where where we are taking care of moving the workload, the service which are running on premise to Azure. Okay. So
yes.
basically talked about the Windows server. Is it applicable for Linux servers as well?
Yes, yes, you
Okay.
can. So that is the reason. First, we need to validate what kind of operating system it is supported, right? So Windows and Linux. In Linux, what are the flavors it is supported? What kernel versions are supported, right? So what kind of disk you have? What is the file system you have? And how many disks you have, right? So we need to do pre-validations. Maybe in next session we might cover all of them.
Okay. So basically, you would require a migration assessment tool which you need to run
Yes,
on-premise
yes,
workload, which gives you a
yeah,
report, and according to that, you would. Okay. So another thing, like, so I did my assessment and I got the report. Okay. Does this report also say, like, this is the server you are having, and this is something, 8 GB RAM server? Okay. Because at on-premise, what I know that it do not have SQs, right? Concept. I would just know by RAM and memory. So, but so the assessment tool will also give me that it gonna spin this particular SQU DS series or something on Azure like that.
yeah. So basically, the feature that we are using ASR was actually only for the replication, but we have Azure Migrate Assessment tool, which will give you um, the detailed information on, like, what is a required size on Azure, right? So based on the assessment data, based on the performance data, read operations, right? It's going to give you what kind of size is required, what is the estimated price as well,
Oh,
whether the
oh,
server can be migrated or not as well. It will give you, if it is not migrated, what is the reason.
okay. So just we can end this video with what scenario you talked about. Just in a short summary, like what scenario you covered, and then we can end this video.
Sure, Grace. So basically, we spoke about how we can migrate your on-premises servers to Azure with the help of Azure Site Recovery, which is a Azure native tool for the disaster recovery solution. So we spoke about what component has to be configured in your on-premises, what components has to be installed or configured in the Azure environment, and what are the binaries that are responsible for completing this migration or replication process, and how you migrate and what parameters that you have to consider, like recovery points. We spoke about this end-to-end process. So maybe in next session we will be walking you through all the scenarios or steps in the with the demos so that you'll get more clarity.
Okay.